Hey everyone, welcome to the Metro Public Health Department's Youth Advisory Board podcast. We thank you guys for joining into our podcast here today. And today we're here with Miss Nichelle Foster, and we're going to talk about mental health, and that's going to be our subject for this episode. And again, thank you guys for listening. We're just going to go into our introductions. So first, Miss Nichelle Foster, who are you? What's your kind of background, and how have you gotten into mental health as a clinician, part of the Metro Public Health Department?
Okay, well, first, let me say thank you to all of you for inviting me and for even choosing this as an important topic, mental health, mental well-being. Again, my name is Nichelle Foster, and I am with the Metro Public Health Department. I am the manager for our community clinical counseling services. This is actually a program that is new to our division, where we are providing counseling services for individuals. Previously, the work that we started out doing was for assisting individuals with getting connected to other agencies for that service, but now we're able to provide that for individuals. I have been with the Metro Public Health Department for over 22 years.
Wow.
And as far as mental health, behavioral health, I got into that field actually from taking a class in high school in psychology and sociology. And so that piqued my interest, and I followed through. So I have a bachelor's degree in psychology from Fisk University. I also have my master's in marriage and family therapy from Trevecca Nazarene University. I am a licensed clinician here in the state of Tennessee. And so that is the work that I do at the Public Health Department, as well as I have a private practice to assist individuals with whether it is individual or couples or families. I can provide the service for them.
And what would you say your favorite part of working in this sector is?
I would say when I am able to help individuals to see that they're that person on the inside who they are trying to get to the outside.
Yeah.
When that is actually achieved and some healing comes with that, that's the piece that kind of gets my warm fuzzy.
Yeah, no, that's definitely meaningful. But yeah, we'll hop right into the questions and the content that we were going to ask you. So the first one we want to ask you is, mental health is a term that we often hear thrown around in a lot of different areas of life, but it can vary what it means to different people. So how do you personally define and measure mental health, and why do you think it's just as important as physical health?
Okay. So a basic definition for mental health is some stability and continuity in an individual's thought processing. When that has an imbalance, individuals may begin to feel that they don't fit in, feels some level of awkwardness.
Yeah.
And so to help them to be able to kind of sort through the issues or concerns that they're having, and for them to be able to come up with different cognitive thought patterns that also move their behavior. That helps. And the reason that I feel that is equally connected to our physical health is because when our mind, our brain, our thought processing is at a healthy state, then we make better decisions concerning our body.
Right.
And the things that we do with our body, and how we treat it and take care of it. And I say that because some may not think about how maybe using substances can break the brain down as well as the body. And what they're really trying to do is to mask or slow down or cover over some of those other negative thoughts.
Gotcha. And do you have any like specific anecdotes or stories of people maybe that you've dealt with that didn't like see the importance of mental health as to physical health, but then after, you know, kind of guiding them throughout it, like kind of they understood that it was important and how that changed their life?
I have worked with a number of people over the years, even before coming to the health department. And so once an individual is able to slow down some of, you know, maybe those racing thoughts in their head, and to make different decisions and choices. And I say different a lot of times because saying better can be subjective.
Right.
Because better may be, you know, what I think is better, but they may not think that, right? We want to, you know, respect how they process some things and what really is defined as better to them. And so I say different. And so individuals who are able to make some of those changes and to see the positive effects from it, and when they're able to, you know, whether it's 5 months, 6 months, or a year down the road, are able to call me back and say, you know, hey, I want to let you know this is what I'm doing now. Here are the changes that I've made. That's how I measure that what I'm doing is really having a positive impact on the community.
That's great. Have you guys ever felt in like a scenario where kind of like you maybe in the past didn't value mental health that much, but then maybe after learning more about it, even through our YAB and just seeing the importance of it, that impacting you guys at all? You guys have any short stories about that or anything?
Oh, mine was actually my sophomore year, like currently as of now. In the beginning, I've always had the mentality of like, it'll eventually get better, like by itself, and like in the end it will get better, and if it doesn't, that means it's not the end. But then after this year, I've started taking harder classes than I've previously had before. So I've always just been like, oh, it'll level out soon. But then this year, like, I don't know, I was just like feeling down, and then everything, like my grades started to tank, physically started to tank, I got sicker a lot more, and it wasn't just a mental thing anymore, it was a lot more of a physical thing as well. So then Lifetime Wellness has actually helped me with that, and the Youth Advisory Board with learning about like these conditions that a lot of people, it's like, oh, it's just whatever, I just gotta go see my doctor, I'll be fine soon. It's a lot of the solutions you could have come from just you taking care of yourself. And honestly, like, I feel like with healthcare professionals, that's like a last resort thing, because a lot of the things that you do are in your control. So, I mean, I started looking more into my own mental health, like seeing why I'm so down half the time, or like what I could do to just be like have a better outlook on myself. So then I started going outside and working out a little bit more, and now like I have a bit more confidence in myself. I'm not as introverted, because some people out there who know me, I was like the most introverted kid ever. Like I had like the saddest expression ever. I mean, like even then I look like that, but it's because I'm just tired. But I mean, even then I'm trying to catch up on my sleep, and just like it really starts from within, and not just like you just deal with it later on. Because then it just gets so much harder to deal with.
No, that's for sure. I think that like your kind of how I like to think about it sometimes is like your mental health is like a direct, like I think some people say physical health is more important, but I think your mental health is important because I think that's the basis of a lot of it. And like, for example, if you're not mentally healthy and, you know, ready to maybe, you know, do something for yourself, then your physical will, it's like kind of like automatic, I think, and it'll just automatically go down. So that's definitely, I think what you said is really definitely for sure.
I think that what both of you bring up about this is, so it sounds like you really learned that what you were needing was to build some of those the happy serotonin in your brain, right? And then that motivated you to do these other things that were healthy for you. And when I hear you talk talk about that the mental health being sometimes more important because our brain and how it functions and how we think about taking care of ourselves. That means that, we're also like doing a scan every now and then, is something hurting?
Right.
Do I notice something different that I haven't noticed before? All of that thought process starts in our brain. And so we need to make sure that it's healthy so that it checks in
Right.
with that.
For sure.
Like, Elgin's story personally, that happened your sophomore year, right?
This year.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, like, especially their sophomore year, like, transitioning into college, high school, they tend to become very academic focused. Like, freshman year, you're kind of, like, discovering, like, how you're gonna, like, grow out through high school. Mm-hmm. And then sophomore year, you think you have this understanding and you start following what you think is right. Like mainly academically. Mm-hmm. Like I heard a story about, really focusing on studies and like sleep schedule and all that. And I really thought about how like me personally in my sophomore year, what I used to do, it's crazy, but I would wake up at like 4 or 3
I
a.m.
remember that.
Yeah, I would wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. just to study or like get ready for school because I thought like I'd have an advantage or like it helped my mentality. But really, I was like losing on a lot of sleep, and it was making me more demotivated to wake up every day and just studying, going back to school, going to bed. That kind of cycle really messed me up physically and mentally. And kind of what you said, like mental, like correlates to physical. Like if your mental health isn't good, your physical health isn't good, and that kind of like reminded me of that kind of stuff. So I guess I can't really speak for like people out of school, but I think for a lot of adolescents and teenagers, the main reason why they're like suffering all these mental and physical problems is because of how they carry out their academic journeys. So I think that was very interesting what Elgin brought up.
For sure.
I'd like to add to that I feel like for a lot of adolescents and teens out there, it's not just academics, because college is right around the corner. That's a really big part of your life. It's the things that set you up for your future and all that. But there's also like the social aspect of just being in high school, and just like with your mental health, if it's kind of in the dumpster and it's just on fire, it's really hard to like just stick up for yourself and just like be your own person instead of just following everybody else and what they do, even if you know it's wrong sometimes. And like I've had my friends, I've made new friends, and like just working on my new mindset, I guess, of just like focusing on my mental health and just being a better person. It's helped me to like identify peer pressure and to like not fall into that like a lot of people would, because like everybody wants to fit in. That's just naturally about being human. But like just knowing the difference between what'll actually help you in the future or then what feels nice now but it's going to hurt you in the future, it's a really just a big gray area if your mental health is just
very thin line.
I also feel like who you surround yourself helps you out a lot too, right? Because my freshman year, like you guys all had a freshman year, sophomore year, and for me, my freshman year, I surrounded myself with way different people than I do now. Okay. And they weren't bad by no means, but they took a toll on my mental health, on how I would react to certain situations. I would, if someone threw an insult at me, or let's say I got a little aggravated, I would maybe talk back, I would maybe get a little offended. But as I met other people like Annie and Jason, Elgin, and many others, I really realized that like, you gotta keep yourself in check, you gotta keep your emotions in check. If you are happy with yourself, you will not get aggravated by someone else's words, their word choice. And that really, like, I could give a quick example. Someone right now could say that I'm the worst human being in the world. I'd check on them, I'd make sure that I haven't done anything to them, and if I did, what can I do to fix that? But I wouldn't let that ruin my day.
Right.
Because if you can start loving yourself, if you can really enjoy being alone with yourself, and if you pick who you spend your time with wisely, then no one in the world except you, your friends, family, and whatever religion you believe in is going to change your mood. So I really think that your surroundings, how you lead your academic journey, and your mindset on life, on just everything that is thrown at you, how you take that really makes and defines you as a person.
Yeah.
What
And
you
your
have
mental
said takes some adults well into their 30s or 40s to realize when there are others who may be feeling some kind of way about themselves, and they deflect that on to others. Yes, when you can stop yourself and not engage in that circle, and really be in tune to let me check first to see if I have offended in some kind of way, and mark those things off the list, then you know that once you leave that situation, that you did all that you could do.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all human, and like, another example, road raging. You know, I drive a lot. I love cars. He loves cars. It's our passion. And there have been countless times I'm a victim of this where I've gotten mad. I haven't road raged myself, but whenever I see someone else being stupid, I get a little aggravated. I've recently started to really think, what's the point? Because that is, he's it's not that bad though. Like I look back and it's like, that's in the past. You know, I don't even know who that person was.
Right.
So if road rage ever happens, it's like, wait, let's take yourself back from that situation. Really think, is this worth your life? Is this worth that current moment, right? And you can also use that in your current day in life. If anyone ever throws an insult at you, or if anyone ever is mad, the thing you should do is to make sure they're okay. Because if you're okay, then you can check on others. And if you're not okay, then you should really check in with yourself. Because like we have been talking about, mental health is super important. I believe that both mental health and physical health is, you need a balance. But if you don't have a good mental health, then how are you going to have a good physical health? Am I right?
That's correct.
And for your mental health, how do you check on that is a question that I've asked myself so many times. And the truth is that while you have to be worried about your academics, your relationships, you really got to figure out what you like to do on your own. You know, I am a big extrovert. My battery gets filled up when I'm around the people I love.
Okay.
And whenever my friends can't hang out or my family's a little busy, I'm always like, oh, I'm bored, I'm tired, what do I do? So then I started taking walks. I started driving my car a little more and more. And I started meeting more people, and I realized that I built new passions. I started liking Legos again. I started liking Beyblades again. I was able to do things on my own. I got back into video games, and I'm not saying video games is the greatest, but if you can manage all these little things and find new hobbies, then you can really start finding new passions. Because if you have one big passion, like you, soccer, me, cars, if you spend your whole time on that, you're gonna get a little tired of them, all right? You need to have a balance. You need to be able to do other things while you're at it.
Something like I want to add to that is I definitely agree with what you said about like the balance part, because I think that so kind of like my history is that like probably my freshman year I was really not, like at least my first semester freshman year, I remember that I wasn't really focused on what was important to me. I was kind of absorbed under everything that's not in my control other than what's in my control. So I felt that I was not the best, but I think I read a book over that winter break of freshman year, so right before going into second semester, and it kind of changed my entire perspective and on a lot of things. It's called 5 a.m. Club. If you guys can get the book, I would really recommend reading it. It's really good. But it kind of opened up a lot of new perspectives to me as well. And like you said, I kind of started thinking, like, obviously, like, to me, like you said, soccer is really important. And but the thing is that when you like start overthinking it, and that's like your only thing, then you leave out a lot of other things that could kind of make you balance. And in fact, that helps you perform better at soccer at the end of the day. So like for example, like you said, I heard that you started doing like walks and stuff. I started doing some hiking, and another thing I started doing is like I started having some structure in my routine, like meditating in the mornings, reading books more. Spending more time with my family, right? And the more I did those things, obviously I wasn't like on the ball training, but I think that still helped me to understand who I am as a person, like individual too, and explore new personalities of like who I am and what I can do and what I'm capable of. And I think looking back on it and still looking forward, I think that's helped me become better at soccer, and in the same way I think it's going to keep doing that. So I think that's something that's really important, is to not over-absorb in one thing, and to kind of like keep your hobbies open and kind of learn other skills and things when you have the time. But yeah.
Recognizing that about yourself, all of you, just that one piece, like when you started talking about how at first it seemed like a good idea to get up early to kind of start your day like that, right? But maybe what you didn't recognize then was the time that you were setting for your alarm or whatever to get up was during those critical REM, rapid eye movement sleep pattern. And so that's the reason why, you started really like crashing early as far as feeling the drag, right? And wanting to sleep and things like that, right? But after you recognized that and made a shift, then you noticed
physical health improved.
Being balanced in adding a new hobby or finding, what some of your other likes are, so that when you are engaging with other people, you can say, oh yes, I've tried that before, and that was kind of fun, and so yes, I would do that again. Or no.
Okay, there.
Oh, we needed to move.
We're back.
Okay.
It's motion.
Hey guys, welcome back.
All right.
What you recognize is that balancing all of that was important, because if we come really, heavy in one area, it kind of just throws everything into a slant, right?
Yeah.
But if we keep it somewhere right in here, because we're not going to always do it perfect.
Yeah.
But if we keep it somewhere right in here, then we're able to enjoy more things, and we're even able to add slowly some other things.
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
And I mean, another thing that I think, this is something I want to take from you. You said looking back on and looking forward to. That really made me think that you can't always look back on the past, While the past is something that we can remember, it's not something we should always be worried about, because it already happened. We can't change the past. It's
nothing about it.
Back to the future, it's not a real thing. Maybe in the future, but not right now. So I think we should like especially for me, I remember going to my sophomore year and a little through that, I would always look back on the past and it's like, man, I really wish I could fix that. Like a lot of people see me as that. And I was just like, stop worrying about that. Just work on what you can fix now. Set your foundation now. And then build from that. And I started doing that and looking less and less on the past. And that's really made, I feel like I've grown from that. And now the people that I might have not been on the best terms with, we're clear and crystal clear now, and that we have good relationships. And another thing I want to talk about is reputation. I feel like a lot of us, we get a little worried about reputation, right? I think that's something when we take a step back from, we realize that the only way to make that well is by making yourself well.
That's true.
Yeah, to add to that really quick. One thing my mom has taught me is that hurt people. Like unless you can truly heal yourself, you're not gonna be the best basis to heal somebody else, because those unhealed wounds are always gonna bleed out on somebody, even if it's not intentional. So honestly, before you help somebody, help yourself. Like with airplanes and stuff, make sure you put the mask on for yourself before other people. Why? Because if you can't help yourself, how can you help somebody else?
True.
And I think it was Marcus Aurelius or somebody who said this, but in order to conquer the world, you have to conquer
We've
yourself
shared
first.
a lot about ourselves,
No, that's for sure.
and
That's
we were
actually really
interested to
good
know more
way
about
to
you.
put it and frame
One
it.
question that stood out particularly to me here is your work with the suicide prevention and the African American Faith Communities Coalition focuses on culturally sensitive suicide prevention. How can faith communities and other cultural groups play a role in supporting youth mental health, and what type of lessons can these communities teach?
Sure. So yes, I do work alongside my colleague Sheldon Walker. He is the co-chair of that particular coalition, and I have been a member since its inception, here in the Nashville area. in 2009. So with that, what we recognize is that individuals, if they are experiencing some challenges, and they do decide to not just keep it, close to the vest and at home, that if they're going out and they're trying to seek some assistance from other people, they many times will rely on their faith leaders for some direction, instruction. And so we wanted to make sure that the faith leaders in different religious organizations, that they feel very equipped if someone comes to them and has some questions about suicide.
Yeah.
And if they felt that they had information to share with them, not only from a spiritual side, but also from a secular side. And what I mean by that is to be able to give them some referrals for services that are available in the community, whether that's going to their primary care physician or directly to a service provider that works specifically with mental health concerns, just to be able to get them connected with the right people. And so we do several trainings in the community around that, and we do also offer those services to the youth, because what we recognize is that although many people may say, well, what do the youth really have, to be worried about? They're not having to pay bills and things like that. But yes, our young people do have their specific concerns around life, and we don't know all of their home situation, or what concerns may be there, some challenges that they may be working through before they are going to school or interacting with some of their other peers, right?
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that they always feel supported.
Right.
And that's another reason that we're always willing to come and help the Youth Advisory Board for Metro Public Health.